Welcome to Mixology with Otolathe. I'm Otolathe, not a professional mixologist or bartender, but my mixed drinks never fail. Today we're going to discuss a topic, a cocktail near and dear to my heart. We're going to be discussing the Martini. The Martini has a long and storied history. It was probably called the Martinez in the 19th century. It was quite a different drink. It was sweet. I think in only about 1908 did it start to become more dry. It's been the subject, or it's been a classic accessory of James Bond. Well, we don't really care about that. I'm going to show you how to make a martini. A martini's ingredients consist of gin, dry vermouth, and some kind of piece of salad, fruit, or whatever you want to add as a garnish, be it a baby onion, olive with pimento, olive with blue cheese. I like to use a blackberry. Some people like to use a twist of lemon. I like a twist of lime. It doesn't really matter. We're going to make one with a blackberry. I would like to remind viewers that anything called a chocotini or an apple-tini or whatever tini is probably not a martini. A martini, again, the ingredients are gin and vermouth and some kind of garnish. Other types of schnapps do not count as garnish. Occasionally vodka can be substituted. That's at the discretion of the viewer. Personally, that falls outside my definition of a martini. Remember, these are not opinions I'm discussing here. This is religion. Admittedly, there are many different ways to make a martini. My way has the advantage of being the correct way, and it starts off with the following accessories, if you will. It starts off with the following techniques. One is a chilled glass. Ideally, this is something that you've kept in the freezer, but if you haven't kept your glass in the freezer because you're just not that much of an alcoholic, the best way to proceed is to fill this up with ice water. Next appliance you need is a martini shaker. Notice that my martini shaker is covered with duct tape. This is because the extremely cold temperatures of the martini making process will make it so your skin can freeze to a metal shaker. Therefore, I advocate the use of duct tape. Otherwise, you end up like that kid on A Christmas Story who tried to lick a stop sign or something. The cocktail shaker is filled with ice. The next ingredient to be added is vermouth. And there are people who like to do a little bit of a pissing contest with saying that you don't need any vermouth, or they get the eyedropper out. Winston Churchill famously said that you just have to look at a bottle of vermouth. You don't have to actually add it to your drink. Of course, he said it more eloquently than I can manage right now under the hot glare of this camera. But let's face it, Winston Churchill was a wanker. You need to have vermouth in your martini, otherwise you're just drinking gin. It has a nice effect actually if you mix it with if you mix gin with the proper amount of vermouth. Kind of rounds the edges of the gin. You should never actually taste the vermouth. You should just experience the effect of having some vermouth rounding the rough edges of gin, which most people find almost undrinkable in its raw state. If you're not one of the people who finds it almost undrinkable in the raw state, then do what you want. But this is how much I add. An alternative technique is to put a sloppy amount of vermouth in, shake the ice so that the vermouth freezes to the surface of the ice cubes, and then you put the strainer on and drain the excess vermouth. So the only vermouth that is left in the shaker is that which has frozen to the ice cubes. Next ingredient that we add is, of course, the gin, my personal favorite. Is Martin Miller's London Dry Gin. It comes in two varieties. One has a blue cap and it's a little less dry, and the other one has a white cap or a silver cap and it is more dry. So then you add about as much gin as it would take to bring this glass to the desired level of gin in your drink, or drink in your drink. The design of the Martini glass is such that it has a long stem here, and you can grip the long stem and not apply any body heat to the drink by grabbing it here. The whole point of a Martini is to make it frigid cold, and that's why I keep my gin in the freezer. I've prepared a little garnish here. It's 3 fresh blackberries. I like something tart rather than briny or salty in this particular gin. Other gins go better with olives and onions and the like. Tart things, lemon rind or lime peel, these are also good. Lime peel and lemon peel. Citrus peels have the additional property of having some oils associated with them, and that floats on top of the Martini, and sometimes you can light it on fire. Okay, as you see, there's a little frost on the cocktail shaker here, so you can imagine how painful this would be if it was bare metal and your hands started to adhere to it, and the only way you would get it off is by ripping flesh off your hand. Finally, after all that, you get to shake the drink, but you're actually not going to shake in a up and down fashion like this, because that will introduce bubbles into the gin, thereby bruising the gin, and that is undesirable. So what you do, what I do, and this is again the correct way, so please keep it in mind, is I swirl it like that so I can hear the rattling around of the ice cubes, but I'm not agitating the gin to the point of absurdity. And then you dump out your ice water. Again, this technique of making a Martini causes extremely low temperatures, almost like we've got some nitrogen here. You might even see a little layer of ice. Finally, you get to enjoy the drink. Place the garnish in the glass. Give one last shake. Pour the drink. And then enjoy the drink. That's a properly made Martini there. Remember, in 2006, there were 13,470 traffic fatalities associated with drunk driving, so please drink responsibly.